The main chassis for Domino is done. It has been thoroughly cleaned, repaired as needed, and lubricated where needed to. When I say cleaned, I don't just mean cleaning the surface, I mean cleaning each and every contact on the leaf switches. And there are plenty of leaf switches. Little burnishing tool right here is what you use to reach in there and clean every contact. There's a little bit of soot that adds up over time. Every time these things make a connection, there's a tiny little electrical spark, and that spark, just like a candle, will create a little bit of soot, and that soot built up over time. So in order to get a good connection, you have to reach in there with a tiny little burnishing tool and file off every little contact. When I say file off, I mean, you can see there's not much of a file there. It's almost just a little piece of metal that smooths out and removes that little bit of electrical soot. But each and every contact on each and every leaf switch needs to be gone through. Not just the large ones on the mechanisms, but also on the relays. You can see the relays will have, 2 stacks of multiple tiny little leaf switches. And you reach in there and get the contact. Where's a good one that I can show you? Right there. So you can reach in with your burnishing tool and smooth those out so that they make good contact when the relay pulls them together. And while you're cleaning, you can find those problem areas where leaf switches either aren't making contact or are making contact when they shouldn't, because each one of these switches, as they make contact, sometimes they're normally open, like this guy right here, and sometimes they're normally closed, like this guy right there. So as this comes around, you'll see it'll make contact with that one and it'll release contact with that one. So you have to make sure that each one is doing the job that it's supposed to do. Then occasionally you'll find a little guy like this where it had lost the pad right there. So I actually pulled the pad off of spare parts that I had. Where's a good pad? So here's one of the pads right there. They're riveted in place like that. And I pulled the pad off of one because I didn't have a good replacement for the whole leaf switch, and peened that in there so that it had a pad to make the connection. There was one right there, and then there was another one on the bottom of the main playfield where it had lost the pad on the leaf switch. So if I've got a leaf switch for the other one that's the same size and the same type, then great, I can replace it. If not, replacing a pad is definitely not the easiest thing to do, but it is totally possible. Oh, there we have the main chassis. I've let that first wax sink in, and after the first cleaning and the first waxing, it was really dry, so it really absorbed that wax good. The wax itself, it's shiny on there, but it doesn't feel slick like wax should. So it's probably going to take another 2 coats, and we'll see what it feels like after that. May even go 4 coats of wax on this because it was super dry. The more you have to clean off these things, the drier the wood gets. And this was really dirty underneath the plastics. You can see that there's still a little bit of residue around the posts. That just wasn't going to come off without taking paint. And so there's a point that you just have to look at it and see if you're going to get diminishing returns the more you clean. So I think I got right about the point where I feel comfortable with it. Somebody had obviously spilled a drink or something long time ago because it was cleaned up on the surface, but anything that was hidden or underneath, you can see it just left that drink under there, and that's with scrubbing and scrubbing. So at some point you just got to stop scrubbing and start waxing, and it's starting to look good. I like how it's turning out, but yeah, it's gonna need a few more coats because of how much cleaning went into this thing. So I did also take I would call it the back apron. There's the apron right here in the front, and then it also has the arch in the back, and that arch had 2 layers of whatever this beverage was that got spilled on it. And again, in here underneath, it was just everywhere. So yeah, I think this first coat is going well. Again, it needs another couple coats. It felt slick at first, but the more the wax sinks in, the more you can tell it's going to need some more. So for sure 3 coats, maybe a 4th. We'll see how it goes. But it's cleaning up nice. I like it. First wedge head that I've worked on, so I'm glad that it's in as good a shape as it is for the age. So yep, more cleaning, more waxing. Well, I ended up going with a 4th coat of wax on this thing, and I am glad I did, because now not only is it shiny and nice looking, but it is smooth and slick. So that pinball is going to glide around this playfield now and make playing it even more enjoyable. It was a little cold in the garage as I was putting on that last coat, so I did warm up the playfield a bit, just to get the wax to go on a little more smooth. And yeah, it turned out nice. Definitely glad that I put that extra 4th coat of wax on it. So we'll let it sit for a little while. End up flipping the playfield over and addressing the underside of the playfield. We have mechanisms to go through, especially this spinning mechanism right here. We'll have to go through those. All of the switches need to be burnished, everything up top and everything underneath. So that is next for the Domino. But yeah, that 4th wax, definitely worth the extra effort.